Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and we're here to take a look at Doom 3 The Lost Mission. Now, this came out with the Doom 3 BFG edition way back in 2012. Here's something scary, ladies and gentlemen. There is now more time between the BFG edition and today than there was the original Doom 3 and its re-release. That's just kind of crazy there. Hello, Neji. Today's pretty good. And hello, Riley. And am I really a general? I'm a general of something. That's BFG was the first time you played Doom 3. For me, the first Doom 3 I ever played was on the Xbox. And yeah, Doom 3 has been criminally underrated. Quite sad indeed. And full auto is better than 3-round burst because you can't outrun the trigger. And a lad of 8. 8! Ugh. I'm just getting old, ladies and gentlemen. Just getting old. Time flies way too fast. What's kind of funny is when this BFG edition came out, I thought it was kind of lame. I even made a video kind of complaining about it. Mainly because I felt like a lot of modders were kind of getting overlooked because this is an official release. It's like, this is a terrible remaster because the mods did it better. So what the Lost Mission is just a quick little campaign, nothing too special. So yeah, this took place I think like halfway into the base game, and for some reason instead of just being horribly mutilated, you just get hauled away over here and you survive somehow despite like getting cut open. But whatever. If you don't survive, then you don't have much of a game now, do you? And so this is just a little side story that, for whatever reason, has some importance to the plot, even though it's one of those things that was really tacked on. At least they tried. I think it worked decently enough on the PC, but yeah, on a console you just had the button. I think on the Xbox, it was like the little... The Xbox controller was different from the Xbox 360 and Xbox One controller in that it had, oh dear, a white and a black button. Oh no, the Twitters are gonna get mad. But I think the flashlight was the white button. No offense. No offense, FBI. Oh wait, we got Cash Patel coming in. But anyway, politics aside. So yeah, this is a perfectly adequate little DLC campaign. I mean, the fact that it exists at all is pretty good. I mean, usually this would be like the base game. This would be like levels cut out of the base game, right? Version of the Lost Mission that we played with Vanilla Doom 3. Nice. I suppose I could look that up at some point, but it's like, eh. I mean, this campaign is not that great. Like, there's better mod campaigns out there. And I'm sure you could, like, get this fully updated with, like, the perfected Doom 3 mod and stuff like that. Played more of the original Doom with the BFG edition. Now, there was a time when I was younger and stupider where I'd be like, well, that's a stupid way to play it. Why wouldn't you get the PC version? Because you could mod that version. It's like, instead of simply being happy that somebody's playing a great game, I was like, you have to play it my way. Thankfully, I'm not such an elitist anymore. And that started a grand total of a year ago. Hey, better late than never, right? Better late than never. Semi-auto is always going to be a bit superior to full auto just because you can actually hit what you're aiming at. Full auto is good for, you know, like suppression, but you can still suppress with semi. Really, full auto is only going to be useful in, like, a video game or as sort of like an oh shit button. Like, you're about to die and you need to dump as many rounds as possible. Let's see. Where beat it back in 2012. Nice. I actually don't mind the Doom 3 shotgun. Streaming on the PS4 shotgun is the most inconsistent. Damn, I didn't know they could get that messed up that bad. But Yeah, I mean, I always liked the Doom 3 shotgun. I didn't really have a problem with it, just because, like, you're always fighting so close to the enemy, so it doesn't really matter. And, like, you can kill an imp in 1 or 2 blasts. Or you can literally atomize a zombie, so it's not that bad. Exactly. You will not be smacked around for being a console peasant. You are allowed to play a game on a console. I remember when I learned that, like, Republic Commando was gonna be on the Switch. It's like, why would you want it on the Switch? It's much better on PC because you can get a mod where you can see the armor in first person. Yeah, everybody kind of hates the Doom 3 shotgun, but I like the sound. I like how it works. I'm a big fan of it. I just like it. I think you get the super shotgun in this mod, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I do want to do a re-review of Skyrim and Oblivion. I actually took the Oblivion review down, because my god, that video was bad. I spent more time talking about Dragon Age than I did about Oblivion. So, yeah, Skyrim and Oblivion will get re-reviews. Not sure when, just because that's going to take a while to get the footage. Because they are RPGs. RPGs take forever to do. It's like doing a first-person shooter. Like, I'm going to review this game in, I think March or April, I forget when. And so, like, this game here, it's like 2 hours long. So that takes no time to get footage. There's plenty of stuff I can say about it in a short period of time. But with an RPG, we're talking, like, at minimum 10 hours to record. And I mean absolute minimum. It's going to be about 10 hours. And really, even 10 hours is really pushing it. But yeah, Skyrim does need to be reviewed, because that was a very early... I've reviewed Skyrim the second it came out. And that was over a decade ago. The end. Yeah, Oblivion is a better game than Skyrim, but I can see why Skyrim got more popular, because, yeah, it's not as janky. Like, you really have to mod Oblivion for it to be good, because if you don't... Okay, so, like, the early part of this game is a little difficult to figure out where to go, which I kind of like. I like it where it's not just one linear encounter after the other. And that just randomly opened. So thank you, Tentacle Man. I shall shoot you in the face for that. Oh, Daggerfall. I tried Daggerfall. I read about Daggerfall. You know, I was like, wow, Daggerfall sounds like it's so much better than any other Elder Scrolls game. And then you get into it and it's like, what is this? It's like, what's with these dungeons that are like the whole game? And why when I swing a sword it doesn't hit anybody? So... I'll say that if you grew up with Daggerfall, I can understand why people, you know, love it, but I cannot get into it. I tried Arena as well, and I didn't like it either. It's just, it wasn't made for me, so I can't play it. I think I'm supposed to go down here, maybe? Show it all. Got Dark Souls 1. Skyrim is a fun time waster. It's one of those things where, that has the most playtime of any game. I've tried Daggerfall Unity. I still can't really get into it. But Skyrim has the most playtime on my Steam. But that doesn't really tell you the whole story, because I media preserved Skyrim first before I acquired it on Steam. And I played I don't know how many hours of that. I bet the game I've played the most is still going to be Minecraft, though, because there was a time when Minecraft was not cringy. There was a time when Minecraft was great. And I played the crap out of that. I made an aircraft carrier. Let's see. Yeah, they really did change a lot in the BFG edition. I recommend the BFG edition if you've never played Doom 3 before. But what you're going to really want to do is you get this version, you just play it so you at least know what it's about. And then you get the original Steam release and, you know, mod it with, you know, better graphics and stuff like that. The original release is still going to be the best. I think in some cases the Xbox version actually looks a little better than this one. Yeah, that dice roll system is annoying. No horror movies that take place on aircraft carriers. I am not surprised. Although an aircraft carrier could be pretty scary, you consider there's like 5,000 people on that thing. I don't think I'd ever want to be stationed on an aircraft carrier, though, because, like, from what I've read, the housing blocks are like 100 people to a block, and that cannot be fun. I mean, think about this. People have bad hygiene to begin with. You ever, like, walking around in a store, and suddenly you just get this miasma of somebody who hasn't showered in, like, a year. Now, imagine you multiply that by 100, and you're stuck in a little block with all those people. Minecraft still isn't cringy, you just gotta avoid the community. Okay, but I feared that, like, Minecraft had become cringy. Because, like, man, oh man, that game got popular. I got into Minecraft before anybody cared about it. And I loved it. I even built me, like, a mass transit system using, like, a special steam-powered minecart mod you could get to travel across my Minecraft land. 35 days worth of playtime for Skyrim. Yeah, it was a game that you could waste a lot of time in. I should actually stream Skyrim one day. The only Skyrim thing I ever streamed was a mod called Enderall, which wasn't bad, but it didn't have fast travel, which made it got tedious fast. Oh, you know it. People did actually bathe a bit more than you might think during, like, the Middle Ages. Like, people think that everybody just bathed, like, once a year. But yeah, if you're gonna go down on a female, that would be pretty nasty business. I mean, I guess you'd be used to it, but yeesh. Play Minecraft on 360. Underwater base. Nice. Minecraft, a whole photo, and, well, not bad, not bad. I played Minecraft before there were even villagers, so my Minecraft is like just different constructions and stuff like that. Sadly, I don't have the file anymore, but I've recorded it back around 2013, I want to say. Of all those crafting games, I think Terraria was my favorite, though, because there was more to do in it. There's like bosses and things like that. I had like a giant Terraria house. I even used gold brick once. There's one thing about Terraria. There's a memory I have of that game that was just so much fun. There was an update that nobody really paid any attention to that added in a bomb-chucking evil clown. And so one day I log into Terraria, right? And there's a bomb-chucking evil clown that spawns right next to my house. And he blows up my house. And I'm like, my various friends at the time logged in. I was like, an evil clown blew up my house. You have to believe me. Those are the days.
I can't believe someone's alive there. You must help me. Time is critical. My name is Richard. Dr. Richard Myers. And I believe I'm the last one alive from my team. I was working with the engineers there before the connection was lost. I don't know what happened to them. But without your help, we may all die. I hope I can count on you. Here's the situation. We were conducting bi-dimensional tests before the attack, and I've lost control of the communication relays. And now we have a functional teleporter still active in the other dimension. And if it's not destroyed, those creatures may be able to use it to reach as far as Earth. You've got to help me. I've done everything I can here, but I don't have enough power to activate the teleporter on this side. The engineers were working with me to redirect auxiliary power from NPRO straight to Exus Labs. But now, looks like you're the only one that can help. I'll upload the array instructions to the SSD at your console.
An SSD drive?
SSD, and find the main power station in Sector 2. Just plug it into the main terminal, and I'll contact you there. There's very little time. Please hurry.
Yeah, submarine would be a lot worse. I love the fact that, okay, so this came out a few years after the original Doom 3, and SSDs were not a thing back in 2004. I'm sure they must have existed, but nobody really had them. I didn't get my first SSD until 2012. I remember it was like $100 for an 80 gigabyte SSD, and I was happy to have it. It's like the boot times, man, the boot times. I mean, now everybody's, you know, rocking like multi-terabyte SSDs, but like We got an SSD hard drive. It's got 256 gigabytes. It's so amazing. Let's see. Never got into Minecraft. If you're into like Legos and shit, you would definitely like Minecraft. And I liked Legos, and I didn't have any money at the time to buy any Legos, so it's kind of a Lego substitute. And realistically, you know, if you've got just basic good hygiene, you wouldn't necessarily have to clean up before getting down and having fun, you know? At least in my own humble experience. And a submarine, yeah, would be terrible. I would hate to live in a submarine. You're locked up in a tin can with a bunch of, you know... it's one of those things, like, having a job is bad enough, but imagine you gotta live with these people. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Not fun. Minecraft is a game that, I don't know if I'd really call it a game. Well, it's more of a game now than it was back when it first came out. Because when it first came out, you just built shit in it. And then some updates added some enemies and stuff like that. But now you got the whole villager ecosystem, Ender Dragon thing. Somehow Jack Black factors into all that. I'm not really sure why he's a part of it now. So, yeah. Used to be, you know, we didn't even have Jack Black. We just had, you know, like Frankensteins and creepers and the like. Claustrophobia? Yeah, I can imagine. A World War II submarine would be even worse. And American subs were not nearly as bad as German or Japanese subs. We had big ones. Favorite PS1 game would probably be Apocalypse, which is the Bruce Willis game. Just because it's really funny. It's really fun. Like, it's very different from, like, your traditional, like, third-person shooter. So, yeah. 7 Days to Die. Oh, I remember that. I have that game. A gaming group I was a part of was like, oh, man, 7 Days to Die, it's gonna be the greatest thing ever. I think we played it once, and then no one ever wanted to play it again. Well, enjoy the replay, Splattenburgers. Yeah, I never got drunk myself. I never liked the taste of alcohol. So, it's like, it just never really appealed to me. I get that, like, alcohol is an acquired taste, but, like, why do I want to acquire it? It's gross. I stand with George Costanza. It's like, I like Pepsi. Why do I want wine? It's like, fuck off, Elaine, unless you're paying for it. I mean, like, imagine, like, you go to, like, some sort of dinner party, and you just bring out a fucking, you know, 2-liter bottle of Pepsi. Everybody's gonna want to drink it, but be too scared to, because they're fucking cowards. Okay, I do not remember what the code for this is. Let's see if this is on one of the PDAs real quick. Let's see. No, I don't want to listen to your audio log. Okay, we don't care about Halloween. I think if we were to listen to one of these audio logs, it would explain where, tell us what the code is for this. But I don't like listen to it. Let's see. Enjoyed 7 Days to Die. About the feeling. Yeah, you don't want to ruin that liver. Making my own mead. I mean, that's not a bad thing. I've had some mead on occasion. By which I mean I drank some about 11 years ago. I was trying to get directions away from the mead, but I was at a Renaissance fair around 2012. I was like, I will try some of this mead, and thought it was adequate, but I don't know. I think I'd have to drink, like, since I have a pretty high body weight, I guess I'd have to drink a lot of it, and I didn't want to drink a lot of it because, like, the meat at the Renaissance fair was like a tiny bit. It was $8. I ain't paying that much. I ain't paying that much for that shit. I'm gonna drink Pepsi. Pretzel hot dogs. Never had one. I should totally stream Pepsi Man at one point. Wow, that guy really hurt me. What an asshole. What an asshole, imp. Is it just because I didn't grab that double barrel? See, if I was playing this by myself, I would just look up the code, but that would kind of ruin the whole, you know, flow of the stream here. And we don't really need it. I don't think we have an Auntie Anne's in Houston. At least I don't recognize the name. Like Sam's Club, they have like a pizza pretzel. Which I've not gotten because, well, if I'm going to get pizza, I'm just going to get a regular one. So yeah, it's like alcohol never was my thing. Just never really liked it much. Too overcomplicated break action bullpup. Yeah, it's not. It was an art major's design of a gun. I guarantee you that this was real. This would be something that would be phased out pretty fast. You know, like Ian McCollum's great-great-grandson would be reviewing this thing, you know? Today on Forgotten Weapons, we're going to be taking a look at the UAC PDW. Like half the time it jammed because the brake action didn't work. Is all of Doom 3 condensed into a small... Alright, we'll see you, Splattenburgers. Let's see. Oh, I guess it's one of those Michigan things. We got Cinnabons here, so they're not bad. Oh, Mountain Dew. I'll never forget. There was a time when they had sugar Mountain Dews, although maybe with RFK we'll have, like, cane sugar in sodas again. But for a short time, whoever makes Mountain Dew had, like, actual sugar Mountain Dew. And it was so much better than that high fructose corn syrup. I will vote for RFK for president if he makes sugar Mountain Dews. Yeah, the shotgun's weird, because, like, you look at the shotty gun here, it's got a charging handle on the left-hand side, and it's a pump action. I mean, I guess they were kind of inspired by, like, the Spaz 12. And, like, the less said about the armor, the better. I mean, the armor is so over-designed, I kind of love it. But imagine trying to make that out of foam. That would not be easy. That's one thing I like about Halo 4. That's the only thing about Halo 4 I really like. And that's, the fact that the armor is very simple compared to the other Halo armors. And so it's much easier to wear and much easier to make. Although I'm doing my own modifications. You'll be seeing my early version of the Halo 4 armor in a video coming up this month. But I'm still kind of working on it, kind of tweaking the undersuit a little bit. Gotta tweak that undersuit. I'm just glad I work out. I had one of those Mountain Dews. I recommend getting the old-fashioned Mountain Dews because it's better. It's not nearly as sweet as a corn syrup one. And it's a much more enjoyable experience. Detailed mesh turned to a low poly asset. Huh. I guess they had to play around with it then. And there is an AR, there is a ammo counter for an AR. It's not on the market yet, but Desert Tech is making a ammo counter for the AR-15, but only for their Quattro lower. And the Quattro lower takes like a quad stack, like 60 round AR mag. It's kind of neat. But yeah, you can get an ammo counter for it. I'm not sure how useful such a thing is, but you know, it's kind of neat. I'd get it. I get it. I'd like some Doom armor, but it's all either too expensive or not available. And it is very complicated. At least it looks complicated to put on. That's once again, that's one of the reasons why I like the Halo 4 armor. It's a lot easier to put on. There's not as many pieces as other Mjolnir armor. 360 version. And I can imagine. Insert the SSD. Oh, it's one of those crappy Chinese ones. That seems extremely dangerous, but whatever. It seems kind of... It seems like a really dangerous thing to do that whoever designed this was an idiot or worked for Jurassic Park. I mean, okay, so I can just randomly...
Now we just need to get that power rerouted here. Head to the terminal in the lower level. Hurry, we don't have a lot of time.
So it's going to randomly break down, and we got to use a special grabber gun in order to fix it, otherwise we're all going to die. Once again, I think the great-great-great-grandson of John Hammond must have built the Mars City base, because it sounds like something he'd do. But then again, if we couldn't fix it, it would be kind of a short game, wouldn't it? It's just one of those things you just kind of gotta, you know, ignore. So talking about Halo, I recently came across a fanfic that's pretty weird. It's a Halo and Forgotten Realms crossover. Yes, such a thing exists. I'm not sure why such a thing has to exist, but, you know, I mean, I guess it's kind of a neat concept. It's sort of like a partial novelization of Halo 3, too. Although it has a bit of a, Just keep chucking grenades at him. Those are weak-ass grenades, but you know what? It worked. Come on, just shoot him in the head! Shoot him in the head! I've yet to see anyone outrun bullets. Glad you're enjoying the stream. There's no version of Doom 3. Didn't have speakers back, old headphones. Oh yeah, the Xbox version of Doom 3 is by far the best, in my opinion, just because those menus, man, I did have a good sound system back in 04. And yeah, it was fucking creepy. Because like you'll hear like voices and random scary sounds. It gave my $100 RCA speakers a run for their money, that's for sure. But yeah, Halo and Forgotten Realms, you know, Drizzt Do'Urden and all that. It's a neat concept, and it mostly works. It's got kind of a golden ending for Halo 3 where everybody survives. Like, you know, Arby and Chief are alive, along with Sergeant Johnson and Commander Miranda Keyes. So I kind of like that. But it's still one of those things of, like, really, Forgotten Realms? When you think Halo, that's what you think of? And it's not a bad story. I've been kind of needing Halo content, and I've read everything already and played everything already. And it's mostly good. You can definitely tell the writer is like a 20-something or a teenager. In all of the Doom series, the heavy assault rifle from Doom 2016. That is pretty neat. Doom 3 on OG Xbox. Except Metroid over Forgotten Realms. That might make sense. Halo Chief and Samus Aran getting together. I could go for that. I guess we should probably turn that on, shouldn't we?
Excellent, that's it. Now, I need you here at the SS Labs. From where you are, head through Mars City sublevel. It's the fastest way. Move quickly. I'll explain more when you get here.
I mean, there's going to be monsters down there, but whatever. Oh yeah, and the Forward Unto Dawn survives as well. It's pretty good, but there's a lot of times where the characters say stuff they really shouldn't say. I highly doubt that Master Chief would ever say that somebody freaked out. I just don't see him saying that. It's kind of like the deleted scenes for like Return of the Jedi, where Emperor Palpatine's like, blow up the planet. I don't see him saying that. It's like, I also don't see Miranda Keyes saying the term, you guys. I mean, she is a highly trained naval officer. I imagine she would like talk a little more, you know, intelligently. Found in the sewer. That actually sounds like it'd be a decent fanfic. Yeah, I did read the Mike McD Doom fanfic somewhat recently. I'm going to do a video on that at some point. There's just too many games and books to do. It's a good thing I can do them fast. It's not bad, but it's not really what I wanted. I mean, I like stuff that's kind of cheesy, kind of fun, and the Mike McD fanfics are much more serious, much darker, much more, you know, like cosmic horror, and that's cool, but it's not really for me. If a semi-auto M60 was affordable, I don't think I would get it, just because it's one of those things where unless it's full auto, it's just a big, heavy rifle. So it's kind of like, what's the point? I will say if I had had the money, which I didn't, I would have got one of those cheap RPKs back around 2015. They had them for like 800 bucks. I would have got one of those because an RPK is basically just a slightly larger AK, and yeah, you put a ALG trigger in that, you're gonna have something that's pretty nice. Or I wonder, does Franklin Armory make a binary trigger for an AK? If they did have a binary trigger for an AK, I would totally do that, but alas. Icon of Sin? Oh, that's a cool concept. I mean, that's one of those things where, like, hell is never really that established in Doom. Like, in this, it's just, you know, sort of like eldritch horrors. In the Doom novels, it's aliens. I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. One thing that's kind of funny about that, D&D Halo fanfic is they keep calling the Arbiter a demon, so I kind of like that. I think that's kind of hilarious. And for whatever reason, they use depleted uranium for ammunition in the UNSC in that universe. It's like, I'm not sure they would use that unless they got a cure for cancer, which I guess in the 26th century they might have. But yeah, it's like, in the real world, you don't want to be using depleted uranium because you're probably not going to be alive for very long if you do. Just saying. It was a machine gun that they made, that some company, I forget who, made some semi-auto copies of, which was the Stoner 63, which is a really neat little modular weapons platform made by the guy who designed the AR-15. It's pretty cool, but they wanted $3 grand for it, and I ain't paying $3 grand for anything like that. Back up the files! Back up the files! Have like 5 SSDs. Dude, took the tech they already had and grafted it. Makes sense. Let's see. Doom guy swaps the brain and Icon of Sin and Chris Chan. Oh my god, no. Oh, please, God, no. I mean, Chris Chan's journey to villainy went exactly like I thought it might. Although, at least he didn't shoot anybody. So I guess that's something. I mean, if you don't back up the files, someone's, you know, multiple days of work will be lost. Yep. Dr. Elizabeth McNeil. Oh, yeah. I wonder if there's a nude mod for that. I mean, there's sort of a Rule 60... Rule 60... I can't forget which rule it is. Rule 60 something. Rule 69! Where if there's a female character in any game, you know there has to be a nude mod for it. I do know there's a nude mod for, not Bayonetta. Although there probably is one for Bayonetta. Blood Rain. I'm sure that is found in all sorts of places on the internet. I was just trying to find a way to get away from that mod, of course. Theoretically, this year I'll get a review out for Blood Rain. Oh, poor Blood Rain. Rule 34, that's what it is. It's not Rule 69, huh? But, yeah, Blood Rain. You think Halo, the TV show, was bad? Actually, you know what? One wonders. Could Yui Bowl, who now no longer is well known anymore, could he have done a better job on Halo than the people who made the Halo show? Because the Yui Bowl made a bunch of movies about Blood Rain that were really, really bad, but I bet they're more watchable than Halo. I just bet. He also made like a comedy parody of his own movie called Blubberella, where it's basically just Blood Rain 3, but with a fat chick instead of Kristana Loken. Can do RoboCop 2, where RoboCop destroyed Kane's brain. That's kind of neat. RoboCop 2 was a bit of a missed opportunity. It had a lot of good in it, but it also had a lot of bad in it. Like, having RoboCop have to get torn apart again, like, I don't really think that was necessary. Like, that just was a little bit too cruel. I mean, like, first he gets blown up in the first movie, then they tear apart his robot body, then he gets turned into a PC, you know, thug, and then finally at the end he's back to RoboCop again. It's kind of they're kind of like replicating their whole thing, which just doesn't really, yeah. If they let RoboCop, you know, just kind of get reprogrammed or something, I could have gone with that. But having him get, like, mutilated is just like, no, I'll pass on that. Now, what I'd like to have seen is, oh crap, that's such a waste. What I would have liked to have seen is RoboCop team up with one of the Japanese RoboCops. You could totally do it, like, just before Kane, like, cuts him up with a jackhammer, one of the Japanese RoboCops shows up and rescues him. I could totally see that happening. I could totally go for that. We get that Jan person guy, the purple RoboCop. On a new Blood Rain. I don't know if I want to see a new Blood Rain. I guarantee you she is going to look like the lead developer, and she's going to basically be, yeah, probably a very square-shaped individual, let's say, or with blue hair and a nose ring. I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, nose rings on anybody look really, really stupid. Like, I don't care how hot the girl is. I don't care how big the titties. Any female with a nose ring looks idiotic at best. And pretty dopey at worst. My 1 AK Kalashnikov USA. Well, I've got a GF3 PSA AK. It works great. I mean, it's an AK. You can't really go wrong with it. It's got a hammer-forged trunnion, which means it's not going to blow up. Unlike a lot of other American AKs. And so it works. I would actually recommend... more than anything, though, getting the AK-556 from PSA. It takes AR mags, so it simplifies logistics, and it shoots 5.56, which also simplifies logistics. That was a complete idiot. Probably don't want to blow up the explosive barrels right in front of you. Might be a bad idea. But yeah, AK-556, probably the best option just in terms of ammo and mags. Some of this show... Oh man, I always hated it when that guy got melted in the toxic waste. Although when I was a kid, my various family, my grandfather had mentioned that he got mutated, not melted. So I always thought he got like turned into some sort of weird mutant that was like a half human, half something or other hybrid. But yeah, that is a scene that even to this day I'll kind of skip past. And yes, I was like sub 10 years old when I saw that particular movie. I was also like sub 10 years old when I saw Starship Troopers. I started my love affair with co-ed showers. Well, so long as the chicks are hot, at least. And I totally was crushing on the girl who played Dizzy. Funny enough, though, in the novel, Dizzy is a guy, so there's that. But that's one change I can get behind. But I remember me and my grandfather dunking on the movie for the really bad tactics. Like, I get that that's the whole point of the movie is to show stupid military tactics and stuff like that. But, like, even back then when I was sub 10 years old, it's like, well, why don't they just, like, drop nukes out of the bombers? Wouldn't that make sense? We know they have them. Why would you send infantry? So, yeah, but it's supposed to make a point, man. Well, 1010, man, you gotta watch it, because it is a very good movie. It is an excellent superhero movie. It is very dark, but it also has a core of humanity to it, man. If you want to be film bro-y about it, it's supposed to be American Jesus. I'm not really sure where Paul Verhoeven got that from, but whatever. But it's a really, really good movie. Very much worth watching. Once you put it all together, it's really good. Because just watching scenes does not do it justice. Like, seeing him become human throughout the movie, you know, it's good. It's good. Saber 15 would be very good. I mean, you're going to get a little better barrel life than you would get from just a standard PSA AR. And it's got good build quality. So, yeah, the thing is, though, if you want to get into just the ground floor of an AR, just get the generic PSA AR. I mean, technically the Saber is going to be better, but unless you're doing competition, you're not going to really need that quality. It's kind of like if all you do is check email, you don't need a gaming PC. So just a generic PSA AR is going to do everything you need it to do. It's going to have a 10,000 round barrel life, which is more than most anybody would really need. Even me, because I don't shoot my AR that much. So, yeah. But if you want to spend the money, you can. It's your money. But my recommendation is save the money, get the generic PSA AR, get more ammo to practice with, and mags, and chest rig, and all the rest. Because that's going to serve you better than just a super high quality rifle that you won't even really need the quality, unless you're, you know, doing competition. Because then you would need it. Let's see. Making parodies. Nothing big in the Stephen King. Saw Cujo at 10. Oh dear. And I was a big fan of dogs, although that's not necessarily because of any sort of movies. It's just I don't like creatures that like to jump all over me. Keltec 5.7. I mean, it's not a bad concept. Although I'm still kind of iffy on the whole 5.7 round. I mean, unless you're needing to go through body armor, which the average person isn't going to need to, it just seems like it's a bit of a waste. I'd just stick with 9mm since it's going to be cheaper, more available, the mags will be more available, you know. When it comes to firearms, I think about, like, practicality and logistics. Where are the bullets going to come from? Can you afford them? That sort of thing. Okay, this is where it's starting to get a little hard. I'll have to pay attention. You just need a basic armor's toolkit, which you can get from Palmetto. I think it's like 50, 60. Holy crap! That's a big boy. That's a lot of big boys. Eat rocket to the face. So are there rockets on Mars? Apparently it's for debris clearance, which you can do in Minecraft. Because you can mod in rocket launchers, and it does help. You can dig a lot of caves with those. Oh, yeah. There's a new gun from Keltec that takes stripper clips, which is used to get around, you know, shit-tier gun laws from shit-tier states. Hey, it's a neat concept. Probably should have been in 9mm, though. But it could be that, like, 5.7 is easier to design a stripper clip for, I guess? So it's, yeah, well, adapt and overcome. It's just what you gotta do these days. Yep, that rocket launcher in Commando was pretty great. I mean, I love how he gets it from, like, an army surplus store. If you ever actually go to an army surplus store, they don't really have much of anything, really. I'm not sure they even exist anymore. I mean, there was one that, the building has since been demolished and is now a Target, so... And they never had much. And what they did have was just crap you could get off of Amazon now. But it's not surprising. It's not like they can just sell guns at one of those places and actually have it be of a reasonable price. It's like getting some old BDU sounds great in theory, but in practice, you'd probably just want to get something off of Amazon that might be, well, better. And half the time, the stuff came from China anyway. I was very disappointed. It's not surprising why it got shut down. Mag mod for M1 Garand. You can get from James River Armory those BM59s. You can get a mod for an M1 Garand to do that, but it's going to cost you more money to do that than an M14 would cost, or a BM59, because I did the math, because I was curious one day. To fully mod your M1 Garand into taking magazines and short barrel and 308 and all that, it would cost you about $3 grand, and you could buy, like, you could get almost 2 James River Armory BM59s for that price. So, yeah, it's not economically viable. It is not economically viable. Benelli M4 clone, so much. Yep, there are better options than the Benelli M4. My problem with the Benelli M4 is that it doesn't come out of the box with an 8-round mag. It's like, why would I get something that's been, you know, circumcised? Oh my. Is it circumcised or circumspect? I don't remember. Blast him! So, talking about comics for a moment, I got 2 comic recommendations, one of which is Rom the Space Knight. It's made to sell toys, but it's pretty well written. It's about a guy who's trying to track down dire wraiths, which look like humans, and everybody thinks he's like a murderer because he keeps vaporizing the dire wraiths. And they don't know. Only he can see that they're like, you know, evil space monsters. It's pretty great. It's got a little bit of silliness to it, but it's pretty awesome. The toy itself was crap, though. It was a 1970s era toy, and so it wasn't exactly that impressive. It had a lot of electronic crap on it that nobody would have cared about. It would have been that would have been broken within like the first 10 minutes of some, you know, kid even looking at, you know. Blast him. Chuck a grenade. Ooh, we launched him into the stratosphere. The amount of energy you would need to blast something into the stratosphere would completely evaporate the carcass, but whatever. Oh man, all the gun snobs hate on those Turk Nellies. It's like, oh, it'll just like fly apart in like 5 rounds. It's like, I'm not so sure about that. I thought about getting one of those, but I'm waiting for the PSA 570 because they're my champions. But another comic recommendation I got is Alien Legion, which is another 1980s Marvel comic. No superheroes this time, but instead it's a sci-fi comic with the space equivalent to the French Foreign Legion. It is remarkably good, and I don't know how like Marvel got away with that back then. Because I think the comics code was still a thing back then, but like they got swearing, they got like death and destruction. It's pretty good. It's where the Absolute series, I'm aware of it. The Absolute Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. I've heard that it's really badly written where like Alfred gets shot by Batman. It's like, what? You can't have Batman shooting people, especially not Alfred. And yeah, the 570 does look good, and it's they're gonna have a model where you can go between semi-auto and pump. And that it makes me very intrigued. But yeah, you can't have Batman shooting Alfred though. I don't know if I like that. Punisher comics. Yeah, I've read a couple of those, especially the Punisher Max. Every film bro loved Punisher Max back in the early 2000s and the 2010s. Like, if you liked dark media like Cormac McCarthy. Oh man, I had a friend who loved Cormac McCarthy so much. And Punisher Max, of course. If you were an edgy boy, you had to love your Punisher Max. I thought it was alright. I'm more into goofy media than super serious stuff. It's like when Rom the Space Knight like vaporizes a bastard, that's fun. When the Punisher has to deal with human sex trafficking, not so fun. Not so fun. They Live. Oh yeah, They Live. They Live is a classic movie. I actually got to see that in theaters. Not when it came out because I wasn't born yet. I'm not that old. Kalashnikov MP5 semi-auto shotgun with an ammo counter. My expectation for Doom the Dark Ages is that it will be competently made and should at least be mostly fun. I'll be honest, I'm not that excited about it because I much prefer like sci-fi to fantasy, and it looks like it's going to be a science fantasy sort of thing. But I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm hoping it's good because I would like it to be different from Doom Eternal, where there's more actual, you know, shooting than the glory kills. Because glory kills get so boring. I mean, it definitely has the aesthetic down. So sort of like a Doom guy meets Conan the Barbarian. Yeah, Idiocracy is too depressing to watch, but yeah, definitely Demolition Man. It predicted a lot of things. Way more things than I'd like to think of. That is a movie that has definitely aged well. I mean, come on. It's like you have a bunch of people pretending to be good and living in what is essentially a horrible dystopia. but they're too stupid to realize it. Sounds like what we're living in now, or we're living in now. I mean, how expensive is zero? I mean, we don't need to preserve that. More control and apparently removing Eternal's weapon switching. Thank God for that. Okay, so what are we doing here? Those are just cameras, so it's not opening that. Oh, here it is, I think. No, that's nothing. Was I supposed to grab something and I wasn't paying attention? Oh yeah, there's no way you could make They Live today. Let's see, hold on. Can return to Doom 3. Yep, Doom 3 is very much an underrated sort of thing. I own it on everything. Be it the PC or Xbox.
I didn't know if you could with all those things out there. Look.
Just call them demons.
These creatures are spreading throughout the base, and if we don't act quickly, all could be lost. I understand you have a lot of questions, but I can't answer them right now. All I can say is we need to get the teleporter in the next chamber working. But to do that, I need you to find a plasma inducer for the stabilizer bank. There's one in engineering. Now, if you head through the service tunnel, you can reach it. I'll unlock some doors. There. That will give you the necessary clearance. Now, please, get the inducer and hurry back. We don't have a lot of time. Please hurry.
I think this is a different guy from the one in Doom 3 where you could vaporize him with the teleporter. He sounds different. Yep. Well, we don't have time, man. It's like, it's gonna be 5:40 any minute now. We gotta be done by 5:40. Unless you are a fan of the AVGN, you'll have no idea what I'm talking about. That was a meme for a few years where, like, the angry video game nerd, he was doing a Let's Play, and he had to be done exactly at 5:40, so he almost finished Mega Man X, but cut it short. And for some reason left that in. I don't know why he wouldn't edit that out. I mean, it would make sense just to come back later and finish it, but it was something that was pretty hilarious at the time. It's like, it's 5:40? We just ran out of time? He's not the only one who did that. There's other YouTubers who's like, oh yeah, we ran out of time. Like, who's timing you? Just edit it out and come back. I don't know why these people don't edit. Just edit, people. It takes 5 seconds. You come back another day, and you finish game. Yep, the AVGN, he's the one that is responsible for my channel to a certain extent, along with the Spoony one. Although I wanted to make positive reviews about stuff that nobody had heard of. That's why I don't really talk about bad games most of the time, because it's like, if something's bad, plenty of people are going to talk about it. If something's good, nobody will. I have no idea who's playing Random Scientist Dude. It's kind of crazy. AVGN is in his mid-40s now, I think. Yeah, next week, I'm going to be turning 36. Oh yeah, the TV guys. Oh man, they made this enemy right here made the Xbox original just chug like you wouldn't believe. I think it's kind of a neat enemy. It's like with a TV for a face. LGR. Yeah, his house got destroyed by that bloody hurricane. But remember, we got to move on to my fires. I mean, yes, it is very sad about the fires and all the rest, but, like, seriously, North Carolina got screwed bad. It's always crazy to think, like, okay, you got, like, AVGN, originally he was just drinking beer in his basement, playing Nintendo games with friends, and now, even though his movie was a failure, he is technically a filmmaker, you know, and he's married with a bunch of kids, so... Remember, ladies and gentlemen, even though finding a nice girl isn't easy, if James Rolfe can get a female, you can too. You just gotta be in the right place at the right time. My recommendation is always go where the people are. You know? Because if you're just sitting around waiting, nobody's gonna know to show up. Unless, of course, you make a YouTube channel. Well, the reason why California has all those wildfires is because of stupid environmental bullshit. It's virtue signaling at its finest. It's like they pretend they're good when they're really not. Because that's all virtue signaling is people pretending to be good when they don't really know or care about anything. And so it's like, oh, we can't clear... How did I die? I got negative 999 health. What happened? Let's see. Is more terrifying from a cosmic horror perspective? I don't know. I mean, when it comes to, you know, the idea of some sort of higher power, I just look at it like this. We live in a world that is not that great, but human sacrifice is illegal. And people don't do it and think it's wrong. Ergo, if there was a malevolent entity that could control humans, that would be much more common. So, there's that. I'm just saying. I mean, so therefore, whatever higher power that exists has to be at least somewhat benevolent. Blast up! Blast up! And you consider that the most powerful country in the world is the United States. I mean, I'm just saying it is. We got like 13 aircraft carriers. And while it isn't perfect, it's not like, well, it's not like people are being, you know, like ground up for meat or something, you know, so there's that. Negative 99 health, yep. Oh, Hexen 2, I gotta get that working one day. I've got a Windows 7 patch, but I have no idea if that's gonna work on Windows 10 or 11. But yeah, it's like we don't have like a... There's not like there's an evil country with like a giant nuclear arsenal that just can't wait to use it, so clearly there's got to be some benevolent force out there. There's got to be something, man. Joins or at least gives a shout out to Ross Scott. I don't know, I don't think AVGN really does the political thing, and now if you want to stop killing games, that's sort of a political thing. Remember what happened when J.K. Rowling had that Harry Potter game made, and all those crazy people were like, if you play this game, you're a murderer! And so on and so forth. Oh, I guess that... I died again! I'm dead. I went... What the hell is going on here? I'm gonna need to quick save. I don't know if James Rolfe's wife is a radical anything. I mean, realistically, she's probably just, you know, politically non-aligned, or just kind of like goes with the flow, man. Which is bad enough, but I don't think she's a blue hair. I mean, let's face facts. James would have probably gotten a lot more political in his videos if she was. I think she probably gets a bad rap just because she's kind of out of focus, so it's much easier to like pin the blame on her than anything else. Okay, now we're gonna save right here, and we're gonna go. Okay, I have no idea why I was getting killed. It's weird. Could have been a glitch. Now, the textures in this game aren't that great. Like, the BFG edition, like I say, it's the easiest way to get into the game. Bip. But, yeah, it's got the worst textures of, like, any Doom port. Except maybe the iPhone version. But, you know, it's like, whatever, it works. That is something that I've come to appreciate more these days, since I have less time. We ran out of time! Since I got less time to devote to troubleshooting, it's like, does it work? Yes. Good. That means I don't have to do anything. So I get why console people love their consoles so much. You're just too lazy? You can't, like, fix a game? You can't like go into the code. You can't like edit the executable. You can't like edit the ini file. You just want to put the game in. Oh, what an asshole. I can definitely see the appeal of just, you know, popping game in and playing. So yeah, I mean, like, if you just want to play Doom 3, this is a good option, but man, it looks like crap. Like, I think it's worse than the Xbox version, but whatever. It runs. It runs. That's the idea, and if it doesn't run, people don't play it. It's kind of like Quake 4. Like, if you want to play the Steam version, you have to edit that ini file, because if you don't, it'll look like crap. Same way with Quake 2 until the Night Dive remaster. If you did not get a mod for that, it also would display like crap as well. It's like, Quake 2 does not look as bad as people think it does. What am I doing here? Oh, I think we gotta like use the grabber. We gotta use the bad touch gun. And yep, I would say that Doom 3 is my personal favorite of the entire Doom franchise. Okay, so that's not it. That's the problem with not paying any attention. We got data prep. 89% efficiency. I guess everybody closed all their porn out. Yep. No OnlyFans open. How lame. Okay, is there something in here? There's art style save. Let's see it. Oh, I just wanted to blow off Steven. That work. 4 to midnight soul crushing job. Yeah, that's not fun, but I'll allow the console fans to like their consoles, I guess. You don't want to edit any files all night? You don't want to, you know, try to find a mod that'll make something finally work? It's kind of like last night I was trying to get SPV3 to work because for some reason it's not working. I have no idea why. Keep getting the same error. Okay, so that's not going to open up. I remember this happening the last time. And it's usually something pretty obvious too. Wait, do we shoot? Okay, let's save. When in doubt, shoot it. Okay, so that did not do that. Oh, you're just supposed to pick it up. Oh crap, it's the TV man. It's Max Headroom, which I'm technically too young to know anything about other than the name. Blast him. My god, this guy does damage. Quick, change the channel.
I'll unlock some doors so you can make it back through operations.
Now, hell in this mod is really good. That's something that was really highly praised, and with good reason. Like, they did a great job making hell legitimately scary. Wow, I am really hurt. Not a 5 whole health. You know, Doom Guy, maybe you ought to stop drinking so many vodkas. It's not good for you. Alright, let's see if there's any health down here. No, this doesn't go anywhere. So the thing about a video game that I don't think we really appreciate in the real world is like, how bad must that carcass smell? I think I'd leave the health in the shotgun shells. I don't think I want to get too close to that nastiness. Okay, how the hell do I get back up here then? Poor Doom Guy, he's just bashing his head into a pipe. Let's see. Most of the time, like with your regular PC games, you won't have to really do too much troubleshooting. But then, of course, you have games, especially from the early 2000s, my favorite era, like Fear. Like, you can't just run Fear normally anymore because there's some kind of driver that fucks it up. So you have to go in and you gotta download a thing so it doesn't like have a frame rate that's like 1 frame per year. 20. Uh-oh. Watch out. It's not the fall that kills you, it's the sudden stop. Doom 3 is a good choice. If you don't have a good PC, you have to anti-aliasing. Doom Guy must secretly be Russian. Yeah, probably. Doom 3 also works with the Steam Deck. I'm going to mention that in a video in the future. If I can improve on anything about Doom 3, what would it be? Now, that's a good question. I'd want more enemies that can shoot back. You know, kind of like this guy here, because there's a lot of melee enemies, and so you don't get a chance to really have long-range combat. I'd have something like that. Maybe a few more open areas here and there. But most of what I would have wanted from Doom 3 was actually implemented in Quake 4, where you got some cool vehicle segments. Ooh, this is really hard. Gonna save right here. I remember dying a bunch here. So I think we're gonna have a Revenant spawn, and he's gonna be shooting us from across the map like an asshole. And then they're gonna blow out the window so we don't get any oxygens. I mean, we gotta breathe. I mean, we're not an OnlyFans girl after all. Alright, well, okay, you little bastard. I think there might be an archvile in here. No, there he is. I was right. There was a Revenant. Come on, blast him! Blast him! Oh crap. And we're at 0 oxygen, and we're gonna die. Yep. Wow, he can hold his breath for a long time. I wonder how he got through college. Huh. Well, I'm glad to hear you can still play that on console at least. Ammo be rarer. I mean, I guess you could do that, but then that would kind of like slow the pace down a bit too much, I think. Okay, you know what we're gonna do? We need to hit that bloody shutter. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna blast him. I got too focused on blasting that bloody Revenant. Yeah, bots in multiplayer is a definite necessity, because like, I don't think there was even local multiplayer with Doom 3. I think you had to be online. Which Halo 2 didn't make you have to do. Hence why Halo 2 won that multiplayer battle. Let's see. 600 rounds for the SMG. It's 250 to 300. That makes a bit more sense, I suppose. And yeah, the Doom 3 Revenants are by far my favorite. And the Doom 2016 ones weren't bad. They got a bit more of a story, where they're like former UAC mercenaries, which is kind of a neat concept. It makes sense that, oh crap, that is a weak-ass grenade. Like seriously, if you throw a grenade that close to you, you're just gonna die horribly. Because grenades are no joke. That's one thing that if we didn't have the AFT, we could actually see just how powerful grenades really are. You can have like a grenade range. Doom 3 and Mortal Kombat. Now that'd be an interesting thing. Although Mortal Kombat's got enough crazy characters already. Like, you got Conan, you got Ghostface. Like, really? Ghostface? That seems kind of silly. Like, Conan I get, because Conan's tough. But Ghostface, a random knife murderer? Really? Like, I could take on Ghostface and win! Because he's got a knife! Unless he's whacked out on some kind of drug, you know, a Browning High Power is going to take him out. Base Delta Labs, we saw pieces of demons. Yep, that was pretty neat. Doom Guy and Gordon Freeman. That'd be a really quiet conversation. Oh, crap. Come on, reload, reload. Plasma rifle in this game is also my absolute favorite. Like the sound effects, everything. Really, people, why do you have strobe lights at work? It's just going to give you a headache. Better for security forces to be armed with assault rifles or SMGs. SMGs would make more sense, especially with low recoil. low recoil and limited penetration, or frangibles, so you don't put a round through the hull. Because you don't want to do that, because you're gonna, you know, decompress it and everybody's gonna die. Blast him! Give me that, sweet, sweet. The idea that they have plasma rifles and stuff like that, you know, just laying around is a bit silly, but if they didn't, the game would be a lot harder. I was saying that, like, you could take down Ghostface with a Browning high power pretty easily. Well, that's going to happen. Teaming up with BJ, I'd love to see that. I actually have for my wallpaper Doomslayer and Scorpion in Hell. It's like the most awesome, like, wallpaper I've ever seen. A shotgun would be good for outer space because you're not going to have the penetration that a rifle would have. And it's going to be powerful for close ranges, and so if you're in space, it's not like you're going to be shooting, you know, like 100 yards or something. Technically, this thing here goes by the ATF definition, and it's just called a machine gun. I must be out of ammo. But it would be more of an SMG than it would be an actual assault rifle, because it looks like it uses a pistol caliber. T-1000 is going to be joining MK? Huh. That'll be... Oh, crap! Okay, here we go. Save. There's just so many crazy characters. Like, I thought it was... I was happy just to see Alien and Predator. Much less, you know, like the Terminator, Conan, RoboCop. The fact they got Peter Weller voicing RoboCop, I fucking love that. I mean, he's come a long way from trying to sell chicken, that's for sure. Dude. Oh, wait, am I supposed to do something over here? No. Do I go over here? No. I'm confused. Space. Oh yeah, there's Outland. I remember that. I haven't watched that in ages. Okay, did we do something wrong or something? I'm gonna blame the chat just in case. Gonna blame ChatGPT. Evidently there's a mod for Skyrim. I've not played it. I have no idea if it's real or not. But evidently there's a mod. Oh, put the battery thing in the lab where Dr. Richards is. Okay. Oh, there it is.
Excellent. You're back. The inducer is working perfectly.
Thank you, Johnny T.
Here's the situation. There's a teleporter outpost in the other dimension, and it's still operational. It's very powerful, and it has a range that could lead those demons all the way to Earth. I would disable it myself, but it requires 2 people to do it. One person at the outpost to initiate the teleporter, and another person here to transmit a power surge to destroy it. I know it's a lot to ask, but you'll need to go to the other dimension, find the remote outpost, and initiate the startup sequence. You're our only hope of defeating this evil. I've got the teleporter ready to go. All you need to do is go into the chamber and initiate the sequence. I'll handle the rest from here. But before you go, I want to give you my personal account of what happened here. It explains everything. The advanced teleporter, how the madness started, everything. It's over there on the console. Please take it. The world needs to know the truth. And good luck.
And Twitter would just say, hashtag not real, mostly false. Yeah, there are so many characters in that game. Yeah, Rambo, Jason. I didn't know Leatherface was in that. But also there was yeah, there's Spawn, and then there's Homelander.
Already configured. Just activate the main console. When you reach the outpost, I'll be able to communicate with you. Goodbye.
It's almost 5:40. We don't have much time.
In T-minus 3, 2, 1.
In the original Doom 3 video, I had Highway to Hell play here, but of course I got copyright struck, so I had to remove it. You know, well, at least we didn't show up naked this time. The original Quake 3 Team Arena, it had like a lot of classic characters, but it didn't have BJ in it. They even had some unused voice lines for Doom Guy, which sounded really good. It's not how I would have pictured Doom Guy, but it made him sound like really crazy. And Quake 3 Team Arena also introduced like Crash, which was like the female Doom Guy. She was pretty hot, man. Quake 3 Arena was weird in that like the bots would talk to you, and the bot dialogue was written by R.A. Salvatore, of all people, the fucking Drizzt guy. Yeah, the Highway to Hell by AC/DC. I even have the original CD. And yeah, I played Quake 3 against bots when I was a youth, but I never really played it ever again. And yeah, the cherubs are like the greatest demon design of all time because they are actually scary and they hurt. It's like the demon babies. Like every demon design in this game is great. Even the Pinky, which is what they used in that god-awful Doom movie. God damn, that movie was bad. Except for like the last 10 minutes, which is the only thing anyone remembers. Well, technically the BFG is called the Bioforce gun. Although, what sort of Bioforce it's using, we don't know. But yeah, the big fucking gun, man. The classic. Original Quake trilogy. Nice. I like the, like, cover for Quake 3. Which had, like, this weird skull face. That was pretty cool. My grandfather actually wanted to have, like a door painting with that. He was really fond of that. My grandfather liked Quake more than I did, especially the original. He never was a big fan of Quake 2 though, which is sad because Quake 2 is my favorite. You're not missing much if you've never played Quake 3, just because it's just a multiplayer game. I mean, it's a good multiplayer game, but it's kind of like meh. Big Friendly Giant. I remember that. I read that book. That's one of those things where you need like a fanfic where like humanity builds a bunch of mech suits to fight them. For a kid's book, the BFG or Big Friendly Giant, that's more hardcore than you think. Cause like in that book, you got like these invisible giants that literally eat people. They fucking are cannibals. Well, I don't know if they're cannibals, but it's like, that's pretty hardcore for a kid's book. Had that Fritz Krieg character? I do not remember that. I think FPS is the worst place right now. Yeah, Duke Nukem. Oh, Duke Nukem! That reminds me, I just read the Duke Nukem comics. I finally found them. Thanks to media preservation. They're really good. Like, there's it's a 5-issue miniseries where Duke Nukem goes back in time to World War II. And he fights the Nazis, but also some, not demons, but aliens. There's basically like these, you know, evil, like Atlantean, like Nazis that he's got to fight. And they have like pig cops and stuff like that. But it's really good because they love, that is a creepy ass image. I fucking love it. But it's Duke Nukem. It is legitimately Duke Nukem. That's the thing. He is exactly the character you expect. Draft price for Final Doom. Yeah, Final Doom is not the best, but the game box is pretty nice. Modern Quake game, such as Quake 5, would be great. It would be nice, but it ain't gonna happen. I mean, Doom of the Dark Ages is probably gonna be the closest thing we get to a modern day Quake game. But yeah, those Duke Nukem comics, they are so good. It's like, the best way to describe them, it's like, imagine if like Johnny Bravo grew up he'd grow up into that version of Duke Nukem. And like in that comic, Duke Nukem lives in a giant house in Florida. And is surrounded by a bunch of hot babes. And like it lets Duke Nukem be Duke Nukem. He's not douche Nukem either. He's actually a legitimately good character that, well, wants to fight the socialists. And not only that, but he actually cares about the troops he fights alongside. And yeah, they're great comics. They could never be made today. I know if Duke Nukem was done today, they would have to take the piss out of him. They would have to say, like, yeah, it's evil to like the female. All kinds of stuff. But back in 2010, you could get away with that. Honestly, the Duke Nukem comics are my favorite Duke Nukem thing since, well, one of those Duke Nukem mods I played a long time ago. Just call it Quake instead of Quake 5. Yep, they'll do that. It'll show up first on the Google search. I mean, there's always, to get the original Duke Nukem, all you gotta do is use media preservation. I mean, there's always that option. I mean, World Tour is not a bad option if all you want to do is play Duke Nukem. It's one of those things that if all you want to do is just play it, you know, where it mostly works, it's not a bad option. You don't have to download eDuke 32. You don't have to configure it. It just runs out of the box. I actually reviewed that a couple years back, and it's perfectly adequate for that purpose. The tide is shifting, yeah, but don't expect too many good things yet, because a lot of that culture is still entrenched. But it would be nice if we could get games that are actually worth playing. 80s movie character with some humorous bits in. Yes, please, no Reddit comedy. No Rick and Morty bullshit. Night Dive. Oh, if only. If only, if only. And Quake 4 does run on the Steam Deck. Tainted Grail, Fall of Avalon. Yeah, I'm going to be ignoring Avowed as well. It's like, we don't need it to run at 60 FPS. It's like, really? Really? Is it that you don't need it to run at 60 FPS, or you can't make it run at 60 FPS? And you want how much money? I mean, what year is it? It's the Spider Bitch. Yeah, well, I got a BFG ride for you. Bam. See, the Doom 3 BFG is like the best. Because it's like a prototype, and if you hold down the trigger too long, it'll blow you up. That's coming. People will eventually be able to make some of these dream projects, if only because the tools are getting more and more cheap, more and more accessible. We'll be seeing more good stuff like that. It's just a matter of time. I mean, just look at Dusk. I mean, I know that's a fairly old game now, but like Dusk is what a real FPS needs to be. Now imagine that with like modern graphics. It would be the greatest thing ever. Tainted Grail. I'll have to see about that. There's just so many games, so little time, especially trying to do reviews. The BFG 10K ain't bad, but give me that BFG from this game. The Mancubus in this game, it's actually legitimately scary instead of, you know, kind of comical. And he's badass. Unloaded two bloody tanks of plasma into him. Okay, how about a rocket, my dude? Right to the face. Wrath Aeon of Ruin. Yeah, I gotta actually finish that one day. It's the only problem with like stuff that's early access. You beat it, or at least beat the early access stuff, and just kind of forget about it. Way too short or agonizingly long? Yeah, agonizingly long is more like it. Like, a game being too short is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, Halo 3 is far shorter than I thought it would be. Because I checked the file, and like it was, I think, less than 5 hours long, but it doesn't feel 5 hours long. It feels right. Laser chain gun. I mean, technically Doom 3 is pretty Lovecraftian. I mean, just look at that. Lovecraft in and of himself, like, usually made these things to where you couldn't fight him because they were so unfathomably powerful, but and where's the fun in that? Oh, crap. Don't reload that garbage gun. Shoot him! Shoot him! I think the creepiest of the Lovecraft stories that I've read, and I haven't read that many, just because his stuff is very hard to read by modern standards. Like, it's very, I wouldn't say complicated, but it's kind of boring in like the word choice. That was sort of a style he was going for back then. He was a hipster for the 20s. But one of the creepiest story concepts, I guess you could say, is where like an alien takes over the body of a human to understand what a human is. Like, that concept's been made into a bunch of movies like Starman with Jeff Bridges, but like the idea of like a normal looking guy is secretly an alien is kind of creepy. Or like, imagine if that person had like a family or something, and then all of a sudden, you know, like a family member is acting like a strange creature that almost is human. Long games is short. Disappointed in Wolfenstein 2009. Hey, at least Wolfenstein 2009 wasn't preachy. Mention how Lovecraft. Yeah, Clive Barker also had a little bit of a influence. I gotta review Undying and that other one, Jericho. I have all those games, but just have not gotten around to it. Yeah, AVP 2010 is, it not only is short, but it feels short. Because really, AVP 2 is not that much longer, or AVP 1, but it doesn't feel that way. I mean, technically, the first Doom wasn't very long either. I mean, like, the very first episode of Doom, Knee Deep in the Dead, you can finish that in less than 30 minutes. But it doesn't feel that short. Love how this DLC has a lot more of those flaming zombies. In the Xbox version, they showed up once. There was one of them. Just one. I guess the Xbox didn't like it or something. I guess you could say he's flaming. Yeah, I was gonna stream Dark Watch, but just haven't gotten around to that either. High Moon Studios. Such a tragic loss. I don't know what game killed him finally. Maybe it was Deadpool that killed him. But the same people who did that Dark Watch game also went on to do the Transformers games as well. And I gotta say, Transformers War for Cybertron, it holds up. The only way to play it is via media preservation because it's been delisted, but whatever. Go! Go, go! Stories are fun, but the stories by his followers are more fleshed out. And I can see that. I mean, Lovecraft, he was, you know, just kind of a pulp guy in the first place, and Lovecraft was just kind of a weird kind of guy. Now, of course, cancel culture came for him a couple years ago. I mean, he's dead, and has been dead for over 100 years, but they were like, and he was a racist. It's like, really? Was he the Rossicisms? I'm not so sure. Alien Isolation, best survival horror game. Alien Isolation is just way too long. Because my god, that game doesn't end. It's one of those things where a little bit of brevity would have been nice. It's like when you think you finished the game, it's like, oh crap, there's like way more game after this. It's like you take out the first xenomorph, and it's like, oh yeah, well here's a hive, you need to do this and that, it's... Oh, he was the Rossicism. Yeah, it's one of those things, like, it seems that cancel culture is a lot like the ATF, where, the ATF is like, once a machine gun, always a machine gun. And so if you're a member of cancel culture, it's like once a Rossicism, always a Rossicism, I guess. Yeah, Clive Barker's Jericho. I gotta get that running at some point. Because I have it. I think like you gotta fight like an evil like giant dog or something. There's like multiple members of like your team that goes to like some kind of hell. It was a neat concept that nobody cared about at the time. Okay, we need to blast this guy in the face with a rocket launcher. That's one thing that you'll see a lot of cancel culture people do is like they'll dig up somebody's tweets from when they were like an edgy boy or something. Or they'll just straight up make up shit. Because that's how they roll. I mean, social media is so unpleasant. Like, you ever look at just like the open stuff in like Facebook or Twitter or something like that? Or X. These people are all so unpleasant. It's like, what happened? Usually YouTube comments are much nicer. Like, people used to complain about YouTube comments being like a toilet or something, but compared to all the other social media platforms, they're pretty nice. Scene from Aliens. That turret scene is pretty good. I'll have to think about it. I think the first scene that comes to my mind may not be my favorite, but just the tool-up sequence where Ripley's like building that super gun. That was pretty awesome. Or, I have to think about that. No, the knife scene. Where Bishop is like doing the knifey spoony, and Hudson is going nuts. That was pretty awesome. And rip Bill Paxton. Well, it's just social media is so mean. Like, the only reason I use any social media at all is to literally just try to find books, movies, or stuff like that. And even then, YouTube's probably the best thing for that. One of the random recommended things I got was a movie by David Lynch, who sadly passed. It's this kind of like sort of a crime drama, I guess, with Nick Cage and the chick who played Ellie Sattler in Jurassic Park. It sounds kind of neat. It's where this guy gets out of prison. The character played by Nicolas Cage gets out of prison, gets back together with his girlfriend, but the girlfriend's mother wants to kill him, and so they gotta like run from like mercenaries or something. So it sounds pretty good. I can't remember the name of it at the moment, but it sounds pretty neat. Wild at Heart, yeah, that I used media preservation. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna have to watch it when I actually get a chance to watch anything. Being an adult sucks, except for all the money and freedom. I guess that's a good trade-off. Yep, Bishop, you call this a knife? This is a knife. Knives and stabbing weapons. I really liked the Bishop character in that movie. I like the Bishop character in general has been done pretty well. Also, that looks pretty nasty. It's Arby's! Arby's is made of people! No, wait, it's just low-quality meat. Although I will admit those cheese Arby's sandwiches are actually pretty good. Oh, look at that! That's fucking awesome! That's one clean burn in hell, I'll tell you what. Facebook is the worst social media of them all, though. It's like, no matter what it is, you're gonna find so many negative comments. But Facebook is useful. I found a really good undersuit for my Mandalorian costume, thanks to a Facebook post. And so, yeah, it's like, Twitter's pretty bad. Twitter has a, when all the wokies talk about, like, Twitter being the Rossicisms, I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of the Rossicisms on there. More than you would think. So, I was surprised. Twitter's usually the more useless one. But I have found, I think I found like a game thanks to Twitter, but I forget what it was at the moment. Facebook groups are pretty good. I've not been to Wendy's in a long time. Slaves to work and pay taxes. I don't know. I mean, I consider myself much more free to do stuff. But yeah, bills are not fun. Not fun at all. And so social media is kind of, it's spotty. You'll get a lot of bad stuff, but sometimes you'll come across stuff that's actually pretty good. Even Reddit, the old toxic Reddit had some good stuff. I remember I found a fanfic where, what if Anakin stayed on the light, and it was pretty good. It was pretty good. And then there was another one that, like, what if Gate opened up and, well, actually, how many people even know about that random anime? There's an anime called Gate where, like, there's this random gate that opens up in Japan. A bunch of, like, fantasy creatures come out and Japan invades. It's a big Japanese, like, nationalism thing. But there's a fanfic where what if it opens up, during the JFK assassination? And it kind of follows that. It was pretty good. It's pretty good. Got a little boring in places. A little boring, but still worth reading. And I would have never found it had I not gone through the cesspit that is Reddit. Come on, blow 'em up. Even though I'm turning 36, recently got back into roller skating. If you've never roller skated before, I highly recommend at least giving it a try. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's like shoes, but with like wheels on them, man. Bought my first pair of roller skates since I was 15. I actually got my first pair of roller skates when I was 15 for my birthday. I think, like, that was a really good birthday too, because not only did I get roller skates, but I also got an 1851 Colt, which was legal because that's technically not a firearm according to the ATF. Media preservation, the first time I tried it, I'm pretty sure. There's really no reason you should get any sort of VRI from, or malware from media preservation. You just go to the high seas, look that up, just type that into Google, have an ad blocker, and just have basic, you know, software. There's a lot that you can get, you know. But you're gonna need a VPN. Surfshark has not sponsored me, but that's not a bad option, and it's easy enough. There's plenty of videos that you can find that will explain that better than, well, maybe not better than I could, but I don't want to get canned by YouTube. Because I'm small enough, they could crush me like an ant. And they'll do a better job than Mr. Burns. But there's also places you can go, like archive.org. That's fairly safe. The ad blocker you want to get is uBlock Origin. That usually works pretty well. Getting too old to mountain bike. Well, at 35, you should be fine. I mean, but then again, it depends on like how extreme you want to go, I guess. I never got into skateboarding. I've never got into skateboarding, but I loved roller skating as a youth, and I'm getting back into it. Like, I'm going to the local roller skating place like almost every week now, because it is fun. If you want to get some good cheap, well, I say cheap, they're not cheap. If you want to get some good starter skates, the K2s are good. I actually just randomly asked somebody who was already skating at my local park. I was like, what do you have? And they're like, K2s from Inline Warehouse. I'm not sponsored by them either, but they're good. They're fast. But you kind of have to pay for it, though. The K2s, they're the cheap ones, apparently, but they're $100. Like, they ain't cheap. And thank you, Snap Ninja. I mean, I may not have that many subs, but the fans are great. Yeah, the K2s, pretty good stuff. Okay, let's save. I don't want to be teleport. Come on, grab it! Actually, wait a minute, what am I doing? Okay, the grabber does not work. I see what you did there, game. We're almost done with the game. Like, we're almost to the end. This is not very long. But yeah, skating's one of my new favorite hobbies because it's not that expensive to do once you have the opportunity cost of the skates. It's something that's, you know, physical, and it's something you can do for more than like 5 minutes. Like, shooting is fun, but like, that doesn't take very long unless you have like a shitload of ammunition, and that ain't cheap. Bowling can get a little dull here and there, and like, you're only gonna be bowling for like an hour, but like skating, you know, you got the music, you know, you're moving around, it's great stuff, you know. It's definitely a sport that I like just because it's something you can do by yourself. You don't have to be part of a team. Although there is a team sport based around skating called roller derby. There's both male and female roller derby. And that's not something I really want to do because I watched a video on that. And those guys that do roller derby, oh dear. Like, they beat the crap out of each other. Well, Turok Fireseed, you came here at the very end because we're almost done with this DLC here. We got one boss to kill, and that's it. We got like one big badass to blast. I've also got a channel recommendation just popped in my head. Check out Goji Center. They do some really good breakdowns on like Jurassic Park dinosaurs and like Godzilla and shit. But they actually are scientific about it, which I'm really surprised about. Like, they go in depth. They recently did a video on, and it's not just slop content either. They did a video on like the T-Rex from Jurassic Park versus a real T-Rex. And it was really good. Like, they legitimately put a lot of effort into that. They also did a breakdown of the new M-Rex from the trailer, and it wasn't slop. Like, they actually were talking about real genetics. I was really surprised. Actually had a name for a roller derby team. Oh my. Book reading stream. Nice. What book? Oh yeah, that Sir Jellybean guy. Yeah, I've seen that. Talking about the Terminators from that one PS2 game. Uh-oh, is it going to work? Silverfin, the first young James Bond novel. I don't think... I've never read any of the young James Bonds. I mean, I'm aware of James Bond Jr., the weird TV show where it was supposed to be like James Bond's cousin, or younger cousin. No, it's his nephew. Something like that. Oh, crap. Oh, yeah, well, I got a BFG with your name on it, son. We got 32 BFG blasts. I did not know there was a Metal Gear Solid novelization. I'm gonna have to read that. Yeah, I'm gonna do a video on the Star Trek novels a few months from now. I actually gotta reread a bunch of them because I kind of forgot them all. Except for Rise Like Lions, which is basically like, sort of like a Star Wars Trek novel in that there's like this resistance against an evil empire. It's really good. It's probably the best, in my opinion. Man, that's a jam-packed novelization right there. That's a big boy. Come on, run, run. Called the Annoyinator. I mean, a Terminator lolcow? Oh my. Oh. It's like, what if Destiny was secretly a machine from the future?
Nice work, Marine.
All right. Well, about reading Glass Empire's Swords of the Empire has a full-length version. Okay, makes sense. All right. Well, lads and lasses, Boogie 298. I forgot about him, but yeah, I guess he could have been. I can see him being Tim Willits. Huh? I didn't know he worked on this game. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I guess that's all for today. Because, well, it's a pretty short game. It took me about 2 hours to beat it the first time, but I guess since I know what I'm doing, you know. And yeah, Mayor Spock is pretty epic. He's like kind of a good guy, but still evil in a way. All right, well, next week, we're going to be playing Quake 2. I've been wanting to stream that for a long time, but I wanted to save it for a special occasion because I can be streaming it the day before my birthday, and since Quake 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, it seems pretty appropriate. So until then, I'm General Lotz, wishing you good Doom 3 Lost Mission and good Quake 4 False Dawn, whatever makes you happy.